what to expect for this week crypto market outlook? Okay, so is the bottom in? I believe so. And I think this is probably the short-term relief rally that everyone is expecting. So what you can see here is that BTC have already bottomed. Okay, probably 97, 87, 88,000. Okay, and then building a bullish base in early January. Okay, most likely to bottom out and to have a short-term reversal rally towards the upside. So first resistance will be somewhere around 94K, okay, which is currently rejected. And of course, if the resistance were to break above 94, most likely we're seeing somewhere around 100 to 108, okay. So that is what everyone is expecting, but nonetheless, we're going to see what is the possible outlook, okay, for January leading up to February as well, the Q1. Okay, Q1 outlook for crypto market. So Bitcoin is up about more than 8%. Okay, first 5 days of January. Why? Is because of tax harvesting as well. Tax loss harvesting. Many are actually selling at a loss before the new year starts. Okay, and then the institution as well are now starting to come in with liquidity. Okay, so yeah, I think you can see the setup for the crypto market is looking set to hit higher again. With the volatility is starting to pour in again, everyone is starting fresh. And then price is consolidating cleanly within the daily TBO, Ichimoku-Cloud. Okay, so this is also another technical setup. Okay, most likely to give another bullish sentiment here. Okay, so Bitcoin just bounced off of its 100-week moving average. Okay, so the last time Bitcoin broke this line, price pump about 350% to its current all-time high. So should we see this time happening again? Because I think most likely as the cycle progresses, okay, the volatility or the return starts to diminish. So that is the setup here, right? That is happening right now. And then of course, we're going to see here, okay, upside levels are stacking, not fading. Okay, so I think a lot of people are also still holding or still accumulating on this range. And then of course, the sellers also are getting lesser and lesser. Okay, so there will be a short squeeze as well that is coming on. And then momentum is resetting, not rolling over. Okay, we look at the RSI, okay, tested overhead resistance, but instead of breaking down aggressively, it has cooled while price held firm. Okay, so RSI also have been overhit the resistance. Okay, and then of course, why this setup favors another continuation. Okay, I think we have been down for the past 2 months, November and December. So like I said, nothing goes down on the straight line, nothing goes up on the straight line. You will create a higher high, higher low, or a lower low, or lower high, okay, in order for the market to continue to have a proper trend. Okay, so Bitcoin is holding elevated levels without heavy distribution, suggesting sellers are being met rather than overwhelming buyers. Okay, so even potential downside reference like the CME gap somewhere around 91.5K. Okay, that could be the level most likely to get tested again. Okay, so yeah, I think overall this setup probably most likely to give Bitcoin a short-term relief rally. Okay, because we've been down for the past 2 months. I think most likely maybe it could also hit about 100K. Okay, probably in the next 1 or 2 weeks from now, probably end of this month. Okay, if everything goes well, if the liquidity is on track, okay, institutions start to pour in again, there's some bullish news coming in, yeah, most likely this thing is going to take off. And then next year coming in from Solana. So what's happening now with Solana? So we can see here, okay, all right, okay. All right, so yeah, I think what's happening now with Solana. Okay, so we can see here this setup for this round. So I think the Solana Foundation, or what we can see is that the Solana now is starting to gain its momentum again. Okay, all right, so institutional demand and on-chain data turn bullish. Why? I think most likely is the retail are slowly starting to come in again. Okay, retail starting to come in again. So most likely you might see some movement for Solana. Okay, and then most likely retail is trading mostly on memes again. Okay, so Solana trading above 137, getting about 7%. And then, of course, looking at the ETF as well, it ran up over about 16 million in daily inflows, which is also quite bullish. Okay, so yeah, we look at institutional demand quietly accelerates. So this is what we want. Liquidity is so important. Okay, coming into crypto. Without liquidity, these coins will not pump. Okay, so we can see the interest coming in from institutional, okay, hedge funds, okay, And of course, with the ETF inflow as well. All right. So that push lifted total net assets in Solana ETF above 1 billion. Okay, this week. Okay, while one day doesn't define a trend. So continued inflows at this pace would signal that institutions are increasingly comfortable allocating capital to Solana. Okay, so yeah, I think most likely this could be a short term as they are also looking for exit liquidity. So probably also to give some bullish mark for the retailers to come in as well. So this is also another one track that what institutions are doing. Going in big for short term, which is to lure in those dumb money, which is the retails, okay, to create a FOMO, fear of missing out, so that they can able to pump their backs. Okay, so once these alts are moving higher, retail tends to buy at the top. So once they buy in the top, that's where institutions, hedge funds will tend to sell. All the whales, OG whales will start to sell. So that is the sentiment right now. Again, so I think overall, not just on Solana, many other alts are also starting to wake up, starting to recover from there. Okay, and then we look at the technical side. Solana is looking set for another rally, which could also hit all the way to $150. So let's see. So yeah, if momentum holds, next technical target sits near 150. Okay, so the RSI currently reads around 63, above neutral but not overheated. Okay, so that's the thing here. Okay, and then of course we look at the downside as well on Solana. Okay, so downside scenario can be not broader market pullback or loss of momentum would send SOL back towards its support somewhere around 126 or 125. Okay, so if Bitcoin were to go down, I think all these outs also will take a breather as well. Okay, so that is the setup here for Solana. And then, of course, moving on next, talking about the Cardano Foundation, or also known as 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘁 as the owner. Okay, so it's mentioning a few important things that you can be able to take note as well. And of course, the keyword here is DeFi expansion. Okay, so yeah, what is the next major growth phase? That is the most important thing. And of course, for the future of Cardano and of course their foundation and their users as well. Okay, so yeah, again, the Cardano founder, also known as 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘁. Okay, I think he mentioned a lot here, key points to take note, which is the DeFi, decentralized finance. Okay, not just focusing on layer one, okay, but of course down the line, which is like layer two, layer threes, right? What other projects or ecosystem below besides layer one can able to contribute to the crypto community as well? Okay, so yeah, so of course he's feel more bullish on Cardano. Why? It's because of his privacy-focused sidechain. Okay, so Midnight recently launched. They launched their airdrop, I think about last month, I'm not mistaken. So you have already claimed your airdrop. Okay, if you have already registered, you can be able to claim. Then they give you about 3 months to claim. Okay, for your airdrop. Okay, and then now this is a totally new project that you are focusing on for Cardano and the Midnight Foundation. Then of course, Cardano has largely reached its ceiling as a standalone layer one network. Okay, so it needs to learn harder into DeFi and start posting results that rival other major chains. Right? I think a lot of people are getting impatient for Cardano because I think Cardano's, in terms of price action, I think many are getting frustrated. They've been holding since last 2 cycles as well, and have not seen the results yet. But on top of that, they're actually actively building. That is the most important thing. Okay, and then focusing on stable coins and liquidity are a priority. We've seen so many companies are also implementing stable coin solution for their own business, even in our own country as well. So many companies, right? They are leveraging on stable coin. They are pegged together with their own native currency to do transaction, to do business with B2B and B2C as well. Okay, so yeah, these are all the use cases and of course all the keynotes to highlight for this coming year, 2026. And then of course focusing on Midnight as well. Okay, so this is this latest project describing and is part of what it calls the 4th generation of crypto. Okay, and then of course we see here Midnight introduced a new angle by focusing on privacy while remaining compatible with multiple chains. Okay, so yeah, I think overall what 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀𝘁 and of course the Cardano Foundation are doing is focusing more on the privacy angle. Okay, and then of course in terms of price action, it's not so good. Okay, I think of course a lot of people are still holding it. I believe so. Okay, and of course, yeah, nonetheless, this is the keynote. Okay, that you can take note for this year. Stable coins, liquidity, DeFi, and then not focusing just on layer one, but many other chains as well. Most likely will be. But I think this year will be BADDD, which is the meta or the narrative because we can see the likes of Hyperliquid, Lighter as well have been delivering after the airdrop. So we should see some action pack of a lot of DEX or derivatives perpetual platform that will be offering this type of services as well for this year. And then, of course, moving on next with the on-chain. What's really happening with the on-chain analysis? So we can see here for on-chain. Okay, so I think a lot of people are focusing on influencers, especially like Tom Lee and 𝗶𝗺𝗺𝗀𝘀. Okay, I think 𝗶𝗺𝗀𝗀 mentioning about the 5-year cycle, talking about the business cycle or the ISM. But until now, it has not been proven yet. That is the thing why we must always adapt to the current market cycle rather than focusing on hopium, focusing on something that has not happened yet, but speculating and taking a gamble there. Okay, this is one thing I like about CryptoCon, that he keeps proving those influencers wrong, and he's been right most of the time, and people do not like it. Okay, so not a business cycle. So what's happening here? Okay, so we can see. Okay, so October 6th, what's happening here? Look at this red dot here. Okay, the red dot, this is the peak of November 28th last year. Okay, peak. And then we found our first low on 2025, January to March, first low. Okay, so this was the orange level. So maybe we should find another second low here according to CryptoCon's chart here, halving cycle theories. Okay, so we can see already what's happening here. Every time all this historical data come into place, okay, whenever it reaches this red dot, usually the market tends to peak. And then we have already found our first low probably. Okay, January and March, I believe this is this year. Okay, this year alone, we should find our first low. And then after that, focusing on the second low, which is most likely to be bottom after second half of this year. Okay, second half, which is this year, August to October. Okay, so yeah, this is the one here, and then you get this dark orange. Okay, and then finally cycle bottom. Okay, that will be the next year, which is 2027. Okay, so that could be the cycle most likely to be playing out according to this. Okay, but again, I think a lot of people cannot accept, right? And still that think that the market can continue to rally. Okay, that this is already the bottom and we are going to go higher. But actual fact, if you look at it, it also makes sense with this halving cycle theories. Every cycle, it tends to rhyme. Okay, history may not repeat, but it tends to rhyme. Okay, the more they change, the more they stay the same. Okay, been mentioning many times. Okay, no matter how much they change, how much the micro cycle change. Right, so end of the day, it goes back to square one again. Same thing is happening again. Okay, all right, and then next year, okay, talking about altcoin season, are we going to get the altcoin season, or should we just forget it? There could be a possibility here coming in for this year. Okay, probably we could see Q1, or probably we could see Q4 by end of this year. Okay, all right, so these are the possibilities here. Okay, so icon cycle don't start randomly. So what happened is that they start after other coins versus Bitcoin, bottoms out and breakout. Okay, so Q4, okay, of 2016, out again Bitcoin bottom. Okay, so the breakout came soon after, and Q1 and Q2 2017 turned into a strong altcoin run. Okay, and then what happened on Q4 2020? Similar, altcoin Bitcoin bottom again, broke its downtrend, and Q1, Q2 2021 became the next major alt cycle. Okay, so this is the cycle that's been repeating. Okay, and then of course we look at the Bitcoin dominance as well. Now you can see it's slowly starting to break down. So I think this we could also see very, very similar for Q1 for this year, maybe January to March. Okay, we should see some movement for alts, most likely a relief rally for alts. Okay, all right, so now fast forward to this year, 2026. We can see what's happening now. Alt against Bitcoin has been a downtrend for almost 4 years. The RSI is almost most oversold ever in history. And then the MACD indicator turning green after 21 months. And then possible bullish crossover. Downtrend appears to have bottomed in Q4 2025 and is now very close to breaking out. So probably could be similar. Okay, but again, nothing is guaranteed here. All right, because we do not have the retail or dumb money is coming to pour in or liquidity from these people. Okay, and then here, why the cycle feels delayed. Okay, many expected this setup in 2024, but key triggers were missing. Why? Number one, Fed balance sheet was still contracting, and then liquidity again, very sufficient, tight. Then risk appetite was low, because why? No dumb money. Okay, That money not there to take the risk. Okay, they're not interested. There's no interest coming in from there. Okay, so that's why you don't see that kind of movement. Okay, and then those conditions only started improving toward the end of 2025. Okay, so cycle is not broken, simply shifted forward by another 1 year. Do we see that? Okay, alt against Bitcoin bottoming in Q4 last year. Russell 2000 breaking up in Q4 2025. And then the liquidity starting to improve. Okay, we can see the institutions start to come back again. Then we have the stimulus check coming in by second half of this year. Okay, new Federal Reserve chairman will soon take over. I think probably by May. And then, of course, yeah, this is the one. Okay, so yeah, overall, we can see this is quite bullish. Okay, on a bigger perspective. But again, we'll need much more patience on that. And then, of course, moving on. When we talk about token buybacks, okay, how important is it for a company or founders to actually buy back their token in order to give some confidence to users who are still holding the coins? And what is the use case? What is the meaning of this, right? So I think this is actually a long post like this. Okay, and then of course people who are do not have the time are not able to read all this. So one thing you can learn, especially if you use Twitter, you can go to Grok, right? And then you can also do a summary. Okay, please TLDR. Please TLDR this post and highlight the importance of this article. Okay. Okay, so yeah, this is how you can able to do it. Okay, instead of reading the whole thing. Okay, and then you can able to see here. Okay, so what is the most important thing? Okay, so this is the one here. Why it matters so much? Okay, this legislation address one of the biggest long-term pain joints. Okay, between SEC and CFTC. Okay, which has created massive legal risks, stifled innovation, driven projects offshore. Okay, so in short, it's just not another bill. It's potentially the framework that led US crypto mature from Wild Wild West to regulate industry. Okay, so which is why pro-crypto voices are treating this advance as huge news. Okay, so yeah, these are the key things to take note. Enables compliant token launches and secondary trading under clearer rules. And then boosts institutional participation, mainstream adoption in US competitiveness versus regions like European Union. Okay, then of course reduce regulation by enforcement. So these are the key takeaway here instead of reading this whole thing. Okay, so they have already summarized what is the importance of the buyback here. Okay, so yeah, I think overall here you can see this is a setup for this year alone with all the buybacks and all the regulatory compliance. Okay, I think we should see more companies will start to do more buybacks for their own token. I think this could create another confidence for token holders who wants to continue holding the crypto as well. Okay, and then moving on next with Airdrop. So for those of you who've been doing Brevis, so I think now the claim is not live. You can able to claim. Okay, claim is open for the next 1 month. Okay, and they've already listed on Binance, Gate, Kraken, OKX, Bybit. Okay, so you can able to claim your tokens. All right, for this guy getting about 454. Okay, and then moving on next, here we have Deepinism, Deepinsim. Okay, also known as eSIM, trading on Binance Alpha. So you can also claim your airdrop if you have been doing this on Binance Alpha. Okay, so eligible users can claim their drop. Okay, if you have qualified a certain amount of points, you can be able to claim. Next year, okay, this is another one. Okay, so I think the TGE will be very, very soon. Okay, from Zen Chain. Okay, all right, so subscription from 7 Jan. Okay, I think this is ICO sale, not mistaken. Okay, you can able to participate and then you can able to buy the tokens. Okay, so that is what normally the team is doing. Okay, so this is Zen Chain, first decentralized Bitcoin EVM layer 1, bringing smart contracts, okay, and true cross-chain liquidity to BTC. So many companies focusing too many utilities are actually launching. So that's the thing. Okay, so they are launching on Maxi, okay, launching on a few other exchanges as well. Okay, so many tokens are also launching. Okay, and then next, okay, we talk about Superform. So I think 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗺𝗃 has already been delayed for, I think last year they're supposed to go TGE. But again, I think they're going to do another snapshot before the TGE. So if you are still staking on 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗺, you might want to continue. Okay. I think they're going to also snapshot probably by Q1. Okay, who knows? Right, for this. Okay, but other than that, I don't think I'm going to continue because of the risk as well by sticking the loop. Okay, so yeah, and then moving on next, we talk about the coin market cap. So where are we now? Okay, so we are at 3.16 trillion. So Bitcoin is hovering about 91.5. So we went all the way to 94.8. Remember that? I think it was yesterday and then get rejected again. Again, Ethereum 3.1, slightly below 3.2. That's Solana 137, Ripple 2.2. Okay, so and then any gainers for today? We have Meme Core 2.8, MYX Finance 2%. But overall, if we look at the 7 days, we have 7%, 34%. Again, some of them are actually gaining. If you look here, 24 hours already down 10%. Objective aspects is 900 dash are also down. Lighter also have been performing quite well recently. Okay, and then I'm going to move into the technical side. So if you have any question, feel free to put in the chat box and I will answer it later on. Okay, so we look at the dominance first. Okay, so for dominance, we can see on the money time frame. Okay, what we can see now on money, price rejected below the middle band. Okay, rejected below the middle band, break below the middle band, pull back for the retry sell, breaking down again. So this continuation most likely to give you somewhere around here, 4.85. Okay, so 94.85 most likely to give you around that level. Okay, for the setup here. All right, and then we look at weekly time frame. So what is weekly doing? Okay, so what do you see on weekly? So weekly also is down. Okay, break below the middle band. And then next we're going to see here is the lower BB here at 57.99. So as long as the dominance goes down, your alts will definitely outperform. Daily also momentum sell. So short term most likely to give you on the sell zone. 59.09. Okay, look at H4 for hourly. Momentum sell, pullback, downtrend again, break, and then retest on the sell zone. So H4 again is still downtrend for the dominance. Okay, so yeah, I think overall this is the setup here. Okay, all right, we have already seen that the dominance is downtrend. Now we look at ETH against Bitcoin. Now with ETH against Bitcoin, so you can see, is there any movement back? What's the upside? Probably yes. Okay, monthly, we have bottom around here. We create a very nice support. So now the only thing is, can this monthly candle continue to break above the middle band? Continuation to break higher, which is above this level here, 0.04051. So if ETH can break above here, then we will most likely to challenge back this stop in here at 0.05175. Look at weekly. So what is weekly doing? Right, most likely to bottom out from here. Okay, now getting rejected on the sell zone. So you might want to see this re-entry sell here on the middle band, 0.03569 to get rejected again. Okay, so overall we can see some bullish movement there. If we look at daily now, momentum buy, pullback again. So probably might come back to retest here. 0.03474. You can able to maintain this level of support, then you might challenge this level here. Okay, which is 0.03613 for ETH against Bitcoin. So far, overall, very nice. It's looking set to hit higher. Then we look on next with BTC now. 91.5. So what's happening now with BTC? Okay, so again, like I said, it's still downtrend. Okay, break below the middle band. Last month candle closed as another red candle. So now it's creating another reversal candle. Should we see a reversal or a relief rally back here at 103.6? Okay, and then of course to maintain this level as well, 96.7. So a lot of work there on the monthly. Now we look at the weekly time frame. Okay, a lot of resistance, a very strong resistance right here. 94.5, right, is the level that it needs to maintain above. For now, it's getting rejected. Then your another support will be here, 86.5. Can you able to maintain? So if not, then we might continue to proceed lower. And of course, to retest this level here. It's about 78K. Look at daily now. Okay, momentum, reversal candle, then hit lower again. So trend overall is actually downtrend. Okay, and then we're gonna look here, this level here, 88.7. Okay, all this level here, 89.1. Okay, so H4. So we can see break below the middle band, pull back for the re-entry sell, break down again. Okay, and then this level here, 90.7 will be next. Okay, for BDC. Okay, so it might continue to go lower. Let's see. Now it's retesting this support, 91.5. Okay, so the levels to watch for BTC, current critical support, 91.5, leading up to the 90.7K again. So it come back down again to 90K to test. So that's the thing here about BTC. And then Ethereum, slightly below 3.2. Look at monthly. Okay, so we can see here, break below the middle band. Okay, so here, the band. And then reversal most likely to give you at this level here at 3.7K for the retest. Okay, for the retest only. All right. So I'm not sure how much of movement for Ethereum to continue to break higher. Okay. And then of course to retest also this level here at 4.4. Look at the weekly time frame. What's happening now in weekly? You can see already doing a double bottom or a double W pattern. Okay, on this level here. Okay, and then if this were to continue higher, middle band will be next, 3.6. 3.6, and then giving you back here at around 3.9. Okay, 3.6, 3.9. All right, so that's the level there. Look at weekly time frame. Okay, momentum buy, pullback. So this pullback most likely to give you around this level here on the middle band at 3K. Okay, so it might come back to retest again on 3K level or 3.1 at this level here. Okay, so yeah, I think most likely we'll get a retest, consolidate again, and then following week, next 2 weeks could be crucial there for a rally, okay, for those smaller coins. So now moving on next to other coins as well, so we can able to look into it as well. Yeah, what is this? With Tensor Tau. You can see what's happening now with Tau. Tensor Tau. So if you have any altcoins, feel free to put in the chat box or any other questions. Okay, you can just put it, then you're able to analyze. Okay, so big Tensor Tau. Is it this one? Tensor, yeah. Right. Consolidation. Okay, lower high compared to the previous high is heading down again. So your critical support will be where? Here. 2221. Okay. And then of course it needs to break above the middle band. 368. Okay. Then we look at the weekly time frame. What do we see on weekly? Momentum sell, pullback for the re-entry sell. So you know this is a sell setup for big Tensor Tau. Then if you can able to break higher, middle band will be next at 324. Okay. Look at DD. Momentum buy. So now today's candle following a reversal candle, almost like a pullback. Okay, might come back around to revisit this level here, 265. Then of course your middle band here as well. Okay, 265, 235 for big Tensor Tau. Okay, and then on H4, what do we have? Biggest squeeze, price breaking below the middle band. Then we look at daily, is most likely to sell to buy. So a sell to buy situation for big Tensor Tau. Okay, so all these areas are already marked 265, and then probably on H4, maybe might give you back around here as well, 256. Okay, if you're planning to buy back on the accumulation zone. So level here, they can be able to watch. And then next, let's look at virtual protocol. So these are all the AI agent. Okay, protocol. So monthly time frame. Trend overall is downtrend. Okay, so you have the support at around 56 cents. Then of course, most likely the challenge here at 1.37. And then leading up here to 2.01. Okay, 2.01. All right, so this is the setup here for virtual protocol. So overall, the setup is still downtrend. Let's look at the weekly time frame. You can see already. Pump, dump, consolidation. You see it's a very nice consolidation. descending channel like this, usually tends to break towards the upside. Okay, break. Now for weekly, it is to break above the middle band, 1.05. Then we can challenge the top BB here at around 1.57 for virtuous protocol. Daily, we can see momentum, reversal candle. Again, so you're going to see here for a pullback, 98 cents, and then probably linear up to the middle band at 79 cents. Okay, so that's virtual protocol. Then what else next? Look at Atom, Cosmos. I think this one has been high. I think 2023, 2024. Now we have the stake for airdrops. Now what happened? Look what's happening now for Atom. 2.4, all-time high, 44. So you can see what's happening now. All-time high was here, 44. Yeah, down about 94%. Can you imagine that? 95. And you're back to this lows somewhere around 2020 cycle. Last 2 cycles. Have you not sell or have you not take profit or even secure your capital? This is the outlook. Okay, sunk cost fallacy. Okay, and then of course you continue to be a back holder. This is the result. Now you're back to square one again. Okay, let's say if you accumulate last 2 years at this levels here, 2023 level, you're actually down actually more than 50%. So at this lows, how much you're down? 63%. Okay, so this is the consequences of holding outs. And then now we are most likely bottom here. Most likely we test on the sell zone at $3 and the middle band at 4.7. Look at the weekly time frame. What do we see on weekly? Okay, descending down, most likely to break towards the upside. Okay, and then next will be here at 3.12. Now look at daily now. What is daily doing? Break higher. Okay, ascending channel, momentum, pullback. So pullback again will give you a retest. Okay, probably here at 2.32 for Atom. Okay, so you can see already all these outs are actually down more than 90%. So even though with this rally, it's not so significant. Okay, not so much. Look at render. Okay, render USDT. So it went up, I think, about 1x, not mistaken, or 1x. So the bottom was meant here on the money time frame. Money was at what, 1.17, and now we are about what, 2.3. So we are down here. Okay, here, yeah, 1x from this bottom up. Okay, but overall, you're already down. 2023 levels. The lowest was 1.25. Okay, now it's giving you back at this range again. So if you have been accumulating since 2023, you're back to square one again. Okay, so you're wasted 2 years to accumulate, and now you're here again. Fast forward back here. Okay, so resistance will be here, 3.15. Look at the weekly time frame. Okay, descending break. So now it needs to break above the middle band. 2.48. Look at daily now. Momentum now it's having a pullback. So pullback also will give you somewhere around here. Okay, 1.76 for render. Okay, then what else? Okay, we can see a BB squeeze on H4. Look at daily. Most likely a sell to buy solution. So most likely it might come back down first before hitting higher again for render. Okay, so render first thing, the middle band, 2.2. Then continuation, it's level here, $2. Continuation down again here, 1.83. Okay, and then what's next here? So we've got a lot here. Okay, we can take like Bong. Bong is another beam here. What's happening with Bong? Now also downtrend. Similar like Solana, hit left shoulder, right shoulder. Breakdown, break on the break below the critical support, which is not good at this level here. I'm not sure how many there are symbols here. How many 4 zeros? 0.4 zeros. 11131. Okay. Next level to retest is this sell zone. And then we look at the weekly time frame. Okay. Descending channel, break, reverse back, but still below the middle band. So it's still considered downtrend. Okay, for Bong. Look at daily now. Momentum, reversal, retest candle is formed, most likely to break lower first or to retest on these lows, in this level here. Okay, for bond. Okay, so yeah, you can see most of the coins already ready. And then now it's taking a breather first. So you should expect a pullback or a correction before heading higher again. Then what's next here? P again, same, similar. Yeah, so this round most likely will be covering a lot of outs. Okay, so yeah, you can see here. Okay, so PP also is down. These are the outs, all those previous cycle coins, especially last year's coins. Okay, it's a critical support that needs to maintain above and now rejected on the sell zone at this level here. Okay, if we continue to go down, we might revisit all these levels here. Okay, look at weekly. Okay, see, slightly break above the middle band, so now it's having a pullback. So now it needs to maintain, right, the support is here. And then therefore only can continue to rally. If not, you might see another breakdown again for PP. Okay, what's next? Here, H4, we can see price closing inside, most likely to break lower. We look at daily as well. Okay, looking set to sell to buy situation. So we should see around this zone to retest again. Okay, around this level. And of course, maybe it could be this level as well. Okay, for PP.